Hi, this is Zach with HVACdirect.com, and today we're going to be doing a product review of one of our very popular brands, ACiQ. ACiQ is a mini-split brand that offers many different options for your home's heating and cooling needs. We'll look at some of the pros of the brand, some of the cons, and compare it to other brands that we offer at HVACdirect.com. First of all, I want to start off by saying ACiQ offers single-zone systems, multi-zone systems, and ducted air handler systems. We'll look at each of those and see what that actually means for you, the homeowner. Let's start with the single zone options. Right off the bat, there's two main categories. You've got your standard systems and your platinum systems. What's the difference between the two? Well, the standard system does not have a base pan heater. That means it can only operate down to -4 degrees, which is still pretty good, but in some areas you do need to go a little bit lower. If that's you, you're going to want to get a platinum version. The platinum version does have a built-in base pan heater and is able to go down to -22 degrees. So that is a really nice option to have in the single zone systems with ACiQ. When looking at the efficiency of the systems, it ranges anywhere from 16 SEER to 25 SEER, depending on which BTU option you choose and if it has the base pan heater or does not. So there are a wide range of efficiencies, but even on the lowest end, you're still going to get pretty solid efficiency out of the equipment. When looking at sizing options in single zone, there's 9,000 BTUs, 12,000 BTUs, 18,000 BTUs, 24,000 and 36,000 BTUs, which gives you a wide range to choose from. Now, one thing to be aware of that could be considered a little bit of a downside is if you're looking for the standard 9,000 BTU single zone system, it's only available in 115 volts. Now, this does not mean you can't use it, it just means that you may have to slightly adapt your wiring if you want the standard. The good news is, in the IntelliHeat, or the option with the base pan heater, it is 230 volts, or 240. But of course, the reverse is true here. They do not have that Platinum series available in 115 volts. So, not the end of the world, but you are a little bit limited in that lower BTU category of what voltage you can use. Once you go up to the 12,000 BTU and above, it's all 230 or 240 volts. There's no longer that 115 volt option to choose from. Another thing to be aware of when looking at the single zone systems is you could have wall mounted, floor mounted. You also have the option of having ceiling cassettes or concealed duct. Now, one thing I do want to point out, especially for those people familiar with Mitsubishi, is as of now, ACiQ only has the square ceiling cassettes. That may be a downside if you're looking for those rectangular ceiling cassettes that do fit in between standard ceiling joists or floor joists on your typical home. On the ACiQ system, you are going to need about 2 feet roughly to fit those ceiling cassettes in there. So not necessarily a bad thing for all situations, but something to be aware of if you're looking to put a ceiling cassette into a home. Now, one great thing that is true for every ACiQ system is they have built-in Wi-Fi. Some brands out there don't have this feature. In fact, recently Fujitsu started shipping out their air handlers without built-in Wi-Fi. Doesn't mean you can't get that Wi-Fi, you just have to have a little module that you plug in to make it Wi-Fi capable. Not the end of the world, but it is an extra step. It's really nice that ACiQ includes that for you so you don't have to worry about it. Aside from that, another great feature about all ACiQ systems, including their single zone, is if properly registered, you do get a 12-year compressor warranty, and that's pretty hard to find in the industry. Mitsubishi does have a similar option, but you have to use a diamond dealer to get that. That means you can't just use any installer, but only certain installers. With ACiQ, they do not care. As long as you use a certified, licensed installer, you get that warranty. That means you get to save money because those diamond dealers or those diamond contractors, they're more expensive. So that's definitely a plus when looking to buy ACiQ is you'll be able to use whoever you want. You can shop around and save some money on the install. Moving on to the multi-zone side of things, ACiQ offers 4 different options. They offer an 18,000 BTU multi-zone condenser, a 27,000 BTU multi-zone condenser, a 36,000 BTU multi-zone condenser, and a 48,000 BTU multi-zone condenser. Now, you may have noticed we did not include 60,000 there, and that is one small downside to this brand is they do not offer, at this time, a 60,000 BTU condenser. So you are a little bit limited if you need that really large capacity and you want to do it with one system only, you may have to go to another brand. But the good news is, with the 48,000 BTU condenser, you can hook up 5 air handlers, whether that's wall-mounted, floor-mounted, ceiling cassette, concealed duct, it doesn't matter. You can hook up 5 maximum to that, so you still have a lot of good options. Now, I will point out that is still a little bit more limited than some other brands out there. For example, Mitsubishi does have an option where you can hook up 8 air handlers, and Daikin has that option as well. In order to do that, you do need to use a branch box. And that's another thing that as of now, ACiQ does not offer in their multi-zone system, is branch boxes. That could be considered a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. So on one hand, those branch boxes are expensive. If you buy one of those large BTU systems with Mitsubishi, it's required that you buy a branch box. That could be an extra $600 to $800, and you don't have a choice. You have to use it. So that could be a little bit of a negative. Now, on the positive side of using a branch box is you can run one piece of copper, well, of course, 2, your suction and your liquid line, to that branch box, and then, well, branch off from there. So that can help make it a little bit easier to run that line set to the outdoor unit. Unfortunately, as of now with ACiQ, they don't have that option. If you get their largest system, the 48,000 BTU system, you are going to have to run 5 sets of line sets if you want to hook up 5 air handlers. But like I said, not the end of the world. It can help you save some money, and it does give you a little bit more flexibility, so it's just something to be aware of if you're looking to buy this brand. Now, in multi-zone, just like in single zone, every single air handler has built-in Wi-Fi, which is great, and the warranty situation is the same. If properly installed and registered, you do get that 12-year compressor warranty, and I may have forgotten to mention on the single zone, a 10-year overall warranty, which is great. Now, another thing to be aware of with ACiQ's multi-zone systems is they don't have the same 2 options they offer in single zone. If you remember back, single zone had standard and platinum. And remember, standard only went down to -4 degrees and platinum went down to -22 degrees. Now, the good news is every single multi-zone condenser can go down to -22 degrees. They don't call the condensers platinum, but they do pair them with the platinum air handlers. So even though it's not a true platinum system, you can think of it as a platinum multi-zone system. Now, for most people, this is a good thing. That means you don't have to spend extra money to get that low temperature performance. If we compare that to Mitsubishi, Mitsubishi does have standard systems in their multi-zone, and they have their hyperheat. Now, the hyperheat is much more expensive. So that is really nice with ACiQ, is you're getting that IntelliHeat, which is the same thing as hyperheat, built in to the system at a lower price. Now, the only time this may be slightly inconvenient is if you live in an area where it's typically very warm. Maybe you're in Texas or California and you really don't need that low temperature operation. You're stuck with it. They do not offer a multi-zone system that does not have that IntelliHeat. But the good news is, if you're in that area, the IntelliHeat part will really never kick on, because the IntelliHeat part is that base pan heater. So it's not like it'll cost you more money to operate the system, you just have to have it built in. And why do I mention this? Well, the only downside to having hyperheat or IntelliHeat, which remember has that base pan heater in it, is that the amp draw requirement when it operates is higher. And even though it won't operate for you if you're in those regions, you do have to size your wires accordingly by code to make sure it can handle that amperage. So what this realistically might mean for you is instead of using a 10 gauge wire, you might have to use an 8 gauge wire. Not the end of the world, but definitely something to be aware of when looking at this brand. Like I said, you get the better performance for the less money, but your install might change slightly. Something that I just want to point out to you guys. Lastly, we're going to talk about ACiQ's ducted air handlers, or their unitary system. Now, the fact that they offer this is great, because not every brand of mini splits does. Mitsubishi does have an option for this, but it's pretty expensive. Gree also has one, and Mr. Cool does as well. But, like I said, the cost is a little bit higher. So the fact that they even offer it is great. Now, one downside to ACiQ's ducted air handlers is that you're a little bit limited in capacities. They only offer a 2, a 3, or a 4-ton system. But don't panic if you need something slightly smaller, because it is an inverter drive. That means it is able to ramp up and ramp down. So while you may find Mitsubishi offering a 1-ton or a 1.5-ton, you really could go with ACiQ and get a 2-ton, and you probably would not notice any differences. But remember, we always do recommend a manual J load calculation. So just keep that in mind when shopping around. If you're looking for a ducted air handler, you are a little bit limited in the capacity options, but you do get the great efficiency at the lower price. Another great thing about the ducted ACiQ air handlers is that the box comes with an included thermostat. And it's a communicating thermostat, which is great because those are normally really expensive. So out of the box right away, you've got an included thermostat that will communicate with the system and operate it as efficiently as possible. But if you don't want to use that thermostat, the other good news with ACiQ's ducted air handlers is they are very flexible. You can use any 24-volt thermostat that you would like if you don't want to use the included one. So that does give you a lot of great options and provides a lot of flexibility right out of the box for the system. Alright, to wrap this video up, we're going to do a quick summary of the positives and the negatives of ACiQ. On the positive side, ACiQ comes in at an amazing price point, has a great extended warranty, has efficiency ranges all the way up to 25 SEER, has single zone, multi-zone, and ducted air handlers, and can operate at temperatures as low as -22 degrees. So you get a lot of flexibility with where you can put the system, how efficient it is, and the different configurations you can do. Now, on the negative side, you can be limited in the amount of air handlers you can connect compared to other brands. The BTU capacity does top out at 48,000 BTUs instead of 60 like a few other brands. And when you look at multi-zone systems, you are forced to have that IntelliHeat built into it, even if you don't need it. But overall, if you ask me, the positives far outweigh the negatives, and ACiQ is a great choice for any homeowner looking to save money, have an efficient system that'll last them a long time. Please feel free to check out our website. We've got lots of it on the website available for you to buy. And of course, you can go to ACiQ's website as well. If you have any questions or any other products you'd like us to review, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you can catch the next review that we do. We hope to see you soon.